Well, Susan, thanks for coming today.
Certainly.
Yeah. Well, I always start out asking people how long they've been retired.
I've been retired for 7 years.
Mm-hmm. What were some of your thoughts when you first retired?
Well, I had one advantage that some people don't, is that I worked 3 days. I worked for the school district, so I was only working 3 days a week, and of course I had the summers off. So I was able to kind of give more thought and get involved in some of the activities that I did pursue after I retired. So I already kind of had a lot of things that I was already engaged in when I retired. And I think that made a big difference because I would always have 2 days, in the week that I filled up with activities that weren't, work related.
Right.
So when all of a sudden I retired, it wasn't like I, had this emptiness of what am I going to do now.
Okay. Once then you weren't working those 3 days a week. What did you like the absolute most?
I think it's just having more time to do things that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could do it like gardening. I really like to garden, and when you have more time, you can do it leisurely. You could work around the weather a little bit more, and I really like that. I could sit and read and not feel like I should be doing something else, and that's a passion of mine. So I really like that.
Mm-hmm. What did you miss the most about work?
Well, I worked with kids, and I really miss the children that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And I miss a little bit of the challenge of work. It was kind of a job where I was problem solving, and I liked that. I thought it kept my mind busy all the time, and I found it was very rewarding work to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You two travel extensively, and I've often joked with you about the only other couple I know who travel as much as you do are the Port Angeles people. So was that your plan when you retired, or did it just kind of evolve?
I think it was our plan. We really didn't do a lot of traveling till our kids were done with college.
Mm-hmm.
And then our kids were kind of world travelers, and they would come and tell us these stories of where all they went, and that kind of got us the bug going. And then we decided it was time for us to be able to do that. And my husband retired almost 10 years before I did. So, he had gone and traveled and had done his fishing trips and stuff, but it was really easy for us all of a sudden to start traveling.
Okay. So when you're in town, how do you fill your days?
Well, I volunteer a couple organizations. I volunteer at the food bank, and I work there once a week. And then I'm also very involved in the Dispute Resolution Center, and I do a 4-hour phone shift there every week. And then I also am a mediator with them. So I do maybe a mediation a week. So that really keeps me pretty busy with volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
I also volunteer for Harlequin, which is a local theater, and I do ushering there, and I enjoy doing that. And then I also do a lot of exercise. I do yoga, and I bike and go to gym classes. So I stay just really busy. And
Have you always done a lot of exercise?
Yes. I've always done a lot of bike riding, and that was another thing that was really great about retiring, was to have more time to do that and not just try to fit it in, on the weekends. But you wake up and it's a beautiful day, you can just go biking.
Mm-hmm. So about the mediation, did you have to have very much training?
Yes, it's very extensive training. You have to go to a 40-hour basic mediation training, and following that, you have to study and take a test, and then you have to do so many observations and mediations, and then you become what they call an apprentice when you work with another mediator. And then after you do maybe 8 to 10, then you become a mediator. And then if you want to do like family mediations, which is the majority of our mediations, you have to take another 20-hour class and do the same things. So it's a lot. It takes a lot of time. And also now they've added that you have to do continuing ed, which I think is wonderful. But to stay as a mediator, you have to do so many continuing ed hours a year, which...
Is this through the county?
Well, it's through Thurston County, yes.
How did you get involved with that? Were you looking...
A long time ago, I worked at the crisis line. I
Okay.
did that for many years. I was a volunteer there. And when I was working, I did that, and I had my 8 to midnight shift for many years. And then I had acquaintances that had done crisis clinic that had gone to become mediators. And yeah, and I think the one thing about it that I really liked is it's a very challenging for me because it's a whole new skills for me to learn. A lot of the mediators come and they work like with their lawyers or their counselors, or they work with employment in their offices or buildings. But for me, coming as a physical therapist, it was a whole nother skill level that's made it a little challenging. But
Well, that sounds exciting. I like that.
yeah,
That it's such a difference.
right. And the stuff you learn as a mediator is not just for working with mediations and as a conciliator. It's a skill that you use every day. And I really wish I knew those with my kids when they were little. But I mean, it's just a wonderful idea because you're a peacemaker and you're trying to get people to talk and work together to come up with solutions that work for both of them. And I think that's really important. Yeah, I think, being a grandmother too is something with retirement that we did touch on.
Yeah. Well,
That
talk
is-
to me about that.
Well, it's just such a delightful thing. I wish my grandkids lived closer.
Sure.
But and then just watching your own kids grow up.
And they were just here for
Yeah,
a few days.
Few days, yeah,
Uh-huh.
and that was fun. There's 3 of them, and the 2 boys are really wild, but we got through that just fine.
So I'm going to switch to your childhood.
Okay.
So as a child, what did you like to do?
I have to think a long time ago. I did a lot. I was involved with our YMCA, and I was what was called a junior leader. And so I did a lot with teaching kids, kind of assisting in gym classes and with swimming because I swam a lot when I was younger. And we just did a lot with our family. I lived in an area where, you rode your bike we were just out riding our bikes all over and playing with the kids in the neighborhood.
And you were in an urban area, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah, I was in a northern suburb of Chicago. And yeah.
Yeah. Did you work in high school?
No, I did not. I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't work until I was in college. I had summer jobs, but I didn't work while I was in high school. I babysat, which I think is what a lot of high school kids did back then.
Yeah. What generational traits and values do you appreciate the most that came down from your grandparents and your parents?
I think my parents taught me to be frugal, which I think, and just to appreciate what we have. And I think education was a trait that was passed down. And I think just family, being supportive with each other. But my parents were always very happy living within their means, and I think that was a great thing to learn.
When you were growing up, did you see many women working outside the home?
Not very many. My mom went back to work when I was in high school. She was a nurse, and she went back part-time and worked at an outpatient clinic. But I don't remember very many women working, at least where I was,
In high school, did you think that you might want to work outside the house as an adult woman?
Yeah, I think, I kind of decided for some reason when I was in sophomore or junior year that I wanted to be a physical therapist. And I kind of made my mind up that's what I was going to do, and that's what I did. So,
Do you have any idea what led to that thinking at all?
well, I know my brother had to go to a physical therapist for a knee injury.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I just got on that. I liked it. My father was a doctor, and my mom was a nurse. So I think I always had this interest in the medical profession type. And I also was always really physically active. So I think I just kind of went with that.
A good match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you kind of get the idea when you're retired that you want to just enjoy every day and not worry about things. And you don't have to do anything. I mean, it's kind of like you can make as much of what you want out of what you're doing. I'm probably not saying that very well, but it's kind of your thing to just get up and find something you really enjoy doing, and just to do that. I do think I'm a little bit of a person that likes to get stuff done, and I think it's just part of me. It makes me feel good to get things done. Not that I have this checklist that I have to do, but I feel better when I do things.